Howdy y'all, this is AR Cavly. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little over a week now, a lot of stuff going on, but now we're going to continue our forbidden adventures in the Forbidden Lands. Last time the heroes defeated a major bad guy and got what they wanted. They got the artifact. So we're going to start off by doing some character growth. So we are growing our character. I think this time we're gonna bump up that reputation because they did take care of a legendary treasure or artifact was found, feared monster slain. So we're going to get old Lennox, open him up here. And we're going to bump his reputation up one more. And also, as far as the experience points, all right, they didn't travel through a hex because they'd already been there already from previous session. They just did exploring. They didn't really discover a new adventure site because I think they discovered it previously. They were again just exploring and setting stuff up. But they did defeat one or more monsters. And they did find a treasure, the artifact. They got it. Did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind? You know, I'm gonna give him an XP for that because Lennox, because he almost got himself ripped in half and got such a great roll on his defense, on his armor, that he survived that. So I'm going to give him one for that. I think three. I think three. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. And now they need to head back. Let's open Zell here while I'm at it. We'll say they decide to spend the rest of the day there resting. The Princess Nia, she just stays in her chamber. She's kind of in some kind of coma. They don't get anything out of her. They try to politely prod and ask her about things, but she's not there. She has been fighting that fight for a long time, and so she's going to be resting for a long time. But now they have to make it back, and they pretty much have the path back. So according to the Forbidden Lands Player's Handbook, if you have already been through the hex, you don't need to make a lead the way. Since some of those were flooding, I'll probably have them make some every now and then, but they recently, you know, they made this trail. It's not like something they went back to a month or two later. You know, this is still like just 10 days or something. So yeah, so we'll just do that. Let's go ahead and do our weather. D6, D6, D6. All right, 1. Okay, 1, 3, and 4. So that is a I know the 1 gives us a bonus. I can't remember what they say offhand. Game Master Tools for weather. Okay, so no wind, no rain, pleasant. Let me just note that in our adventure journal real quick. Now, even though they know the way, that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be forces about causing them trouble. And since they don't have, unfortunately, Barry got leg broke and then eaten. All right, so we'll do our random encounter. Shuffle, shuffle. 3 of diamonds. So that's going to be red. So random encounter table from the main book. D66. Three and a 6 in the woods from the main book. All right, forest. All right, 3, 6, so no encounter. And then through the woods again. 8 of clubs, so that's going to be an encounter from the Book of Beasts. 3 and a 1. I don't think that's going to give us anything. Forest, 3 and a 1. Oh, it does. Okay, 10. Oh, that sounds familiar. Forest, 3 and a 1. 10. Guard of Stone. All right, so as they're heading back, perhaps taking a little bit different path because it was easier to go one direction heading north and another heading back south, or vice versa. The outline of a humanoid figure can be seen in the dense vegetation. The figure does not answer when spoken to and seems almost unnaturally still. I'm going to give Lennox his scouting roll. Give him his +2 for his hourglass. Go away, prompt. Go away. Just to see if he sees it far out or not. All right, so success. So he does actually see this out a little ways. Out a little ways. Does he want to? Now again, of course, he's not really someone who wants to go encounter people. He wants to just get home. But why not? Well, of course, he may not want to run across Grelf again. Doesn't want to piss that guy off. But yeah, all right, yeah, we'll bite. So the adventurers who venture into the thick undergrowth will soon find that the figure is in fact an overgrown statue. So maybe he kind of had an idea about that from seeing it through his scope. Is like, that's not a person, that's a statue. So let's go check it out. So removing the dense tangle of vegetation requires a successful might roll. So they head up there and they're going to remove that vegetation. A successful might roll, huh? Let's see. He's got a might. And since two of them are working, and they've got knives and stuff, so I'll give, between the assistants and the extra, between their various cutting weapons, I'll give them 1 die for that roll to get rid of the vegetation. All right, 2 successes. Easy peasy. As they cleared away, hidden beneath the vegetation is a well-made statue of a female human warrior. Wonder what they mean by well-made. In any case, in one hand she holds a thick short sword whose hilt ends in a self-eating snake, an Ouroboros. On the other end, she carries the severed head of a demonic misgrown with winding ram horns and a greedy-looking toad's face. All right, so adventurers who succeed with the lore roll. Oh, he actually has an okay lore roll. All right, so he's failed his lore roll. I don't really see that as something that's worth pushing, especially since especially since it's just sort of a gee whiz kind of thing. All right, so they carry on, not having learned anything about the statue and frankly not caring too much. Lennox with a D66 roll. 5 and a 6 in the plains. That's definitely an encounter. Oh, whoops. I need to get out of order there. First draw. 8 clubs. Yeah, I guess I'll keep that 5-6. But I should probably reroll it. 8 clubs, 5-6 in the Book of Beasts in. Now they're in the plains. 24. Monster droppings. You're struck by a pungent stench. Up ahead is a huge green-brown pile of dung surrounded by large, frantically buzzing insects. The pile is larger than a full-grown human and has not yet hardened. Immediately, a tall, lanky man in black clothes walks up, takes off his sunglasses, and says, "That's one big pile of shit." Just kidding, it doesn't say that last part. All right. All right, so with a successful survival or animal handling roll, they conclude that the droppings are still fresh and not far away. I'm not sure if they really need to roll that since it's not hardened yet or whatever, but yeah, let's go ahead and give someone a chance to roll. He's got... Lennox should have animal handling at a level 1. Oh, you're healed now. I thought I gave him animal handling level 1. Now, I may have to go... Oh, miscellaneous skill level +1. Oh, okay, okay. I bet yeah, okay. I thought so. I put it in the wrong field there. I thought he had so that he could ride Chauncey. Animal handling. Examine the Dookie. Oh, it's so it's so stressful handling the Dookie that he got a skull. But you know what? I'll be honest. He is not the kind of person who's going to go digging around through Dookie looking for something. Should they dig through the excrement, you can let them roll once on the table. Um, no, no. We don't go digging through the Dookie. And then second hex for the afternoon travel. They go to their second hex of travel, ignoring the Dookie. And now the second, I accidentally moved my card there. Nine of clubs. A lot of clubs in there. So Forbidden Lands, Black Book, Lennox. Give me a D66, please. 3 and a 4 in the plains. A 4. Garmar's Wall. No, Garmar's Wall is way south, so we're just going to ignore it. Nothing there. Now they're going to make camp. So Lennox will make camp with +2, and actually another +1 because of the weather. All right, one success. So he makes camp, and we'll say that Zell. We'll say that he's going to go hunting to get us some food for the day. All right, so he gets his hunting roll. Now he only got the single, so he gets one die 6 roll to see what critter. 4. A fox. All right, difficulty -1. He's just going to try to hunt. He's going to try to hunt it, so that's going to be a long bow with a -1 because of the fox being foxy. Oof. All right, so that fox goes sniffing through. Zell tracks. He hears it off in the distance, manages to come up over and see the fox sniffing at some, I don't know, mouse hole or something, and he puts an arrow through the fox's side, brings him back to camp, skins him, and eats him, gives him enough food for the day. So no need to roll for food die. And somewhere, probably on Lennox. All right, yeah. Pelt times 3 for the horsey. The next day, let's go ahead and get our weather 3, 1, and 5. So that's going to be, okay, gentle breeze with clear skies and pleasant. Gentle breeze, clear skies, pleasant. And if we do any lead the way, which I don't think we really will, but if I do decide to, then it will be clear, or it'll give them a +1. All right, they did not travel through new hexes. They didn't discover anything new, so there's no experience or anything. We'll shuffle our deck a couple of times. All right. Oh, and I realized that I didn't roll their food, but I should still roll their water. All right, so Lennox still has good water. Because even though there's a river nearby, they're not necessarily following the river just yet. All right, so they keep those. Now, I was thinking one of the things I'd like to do with Lennox is I want to spend some experience points. I meant to do it yesterday, but I'll let him do it. Now, what I want to do is I want to let him try to buy his Path of Lies because he has used his skill to to work deals out. I mean, he got the demon to Grelf to not kill them, and so I think the errata actually changes it to something else, not Path of Lies, but uh, Path of Words or something like that. Now, normally it says you're supposed to spend a day practicing, but I don't think that's really something that you could hey Zell, why don't you just lie to me? Tell me some lies for a couple hours. So I think I'm going to apply it to that. I'll still make him make the wits roll since he's not getting a like a teacher. So wits roll. Okay, excellent. 2. So we're going to take, how does that work? It's, let's see, learning a new talent costs 3 XP. All right, so that's going to be 3 XP. Reduce that back down to 2. And we're going to add his talent. Path of Lies. That's professional. That's skill level 1. All right, so his Path of Lies allows him to basically know at rank 1, lets him know if he spends a willpower point, he can reveal whether an NPC is lying or not. So that's handy, and we carry on the next day. Two of clubs, so that's going to be an encounter in the Book of Beasts. Yeah, just want to double check that. Lennox, give us a D66, please. 1 and a 4. The planes, pretty sure that's, yeah, that's nothing. Next hex. You know, this was a hex that got flooded. So just to mix things up, I'm going to have Zell make a lead the way roll. All right, so he leads the way successfully. And do we have an encounter? A six. Oops. 6 and a 5 is definitely an encounter, but I need to roll this or pull a card first. Oh, Ace of Diamonds. What does that do? Random adventure site from Chapter 8 in the Game Master's Guide. All right, well, I guess they had to take a path around. And I think it would only make sense that what they come across is this tower. I'm trying to remember. I think I made that tower. Let me hit pause and review my notes. All right, well, I tried to look back through the notes to see if I had made anything here, but I couldn't find one. And so it was probably something where they just tried to avoid it. This time, however, because of the route they're taking, they're gonna have to do it. So we're going to use our online Forbidden Lands generation tool and come up with a, let's see what we're going to come up with. A 5. So that's going to be a dungeon. Looking right there, 4 or 5 is a dungeon. So we're going to generate a random dungeon. And we might use a Watabu dungeon. We'll say it's maybe under this castle. All right, so I created a random adventure site. I used the one-page Watabu dungeon and the perchance generator and kind of combined them together. I did have to make, I did roll a couple different random dungeons just because sometimes when you're making random things, they don't make sense. So as they are wandering along the the new path, trying to get down south through the flooded lands that are still very boggy and wet and hard to get through, they approach this old dungeon. This tower they find is crumbling, but at the base of the tower, they barely make out a door of bone. By that, I assume it's kind of, instead of using wood planks, it's got mysterious and macabre bones put together. And it's mainly guarded by a manticore. Well, that's not really good because, frankly, I don't know that I don't know that my guys are up for fighting a manticore. Those guys are pretty nasty. Oh, but I will actually put it on the map this time, just to make sure. And since it's actually already on the map, I'm not going to worry about putting an icon. But as they approach the manticore, now of course he doesn't know there's a manticore, but he's going to make a Lennox is going to make a scouting roll as they kind of approach the tower, see what's going on. The manticore, I imagine, is living in the tower. Let's see, are they flying? Are they flying in this game? Let's see. Oh no. No, I'm thinking of a chimera. The so but it's still probably living in the tower somehow in the ruins. So we'll see if he can actually see if we can see anything there. He gets his +2 from his spyglass as he starts looking around. So he does get one success. So he knows that there is some kind of monster around. He can see the maybe some scat or maybe some kind of movement. In fact, let's as they approach, I'm going to use the Oracle, and we'll see how deadly. The Manticore itself, obviously deadly, but maybe he doesn't care about him. Maybe it just got done eating some mountain goat, or maybe it sees Chauncey and says yum yum. All right, 2 of clubs. As we go to our book of beasts, neutral. All right, well, I went and I made all that, and so we'll say as they approach the Manticore, he's just kind of watching them from hiding, but he can tell there's something up there. They he doesn't really want to fight this Manticore, um, but they're kind of forced because of the floodwaters and everything. They're kind of forced to go back around and check, yeah, close to these ruins. This is one of those things where I'm kind of at a crossroads because Lennox is not necessarily the exploration type, but the spirit of the game is to, the rogues exploring a ruined world. He's not necessarily a coward. He just doesn't, he's not looking for trouble. He's a peddler. But he is a peddler, and sometimes you find these old places, there might be treasure inside. So I think they're going to go ahead and explore. And they will probably rue, they will probably rue the day they decided to explore this place. Clean up the old battle map here. All right, so they're going to try to sneak. He can see the manticore or some kind of beast kind of roving in this area. And we'll say the stone door is that that right there. Say that stone door goes down. So they're going to try to sneak along without the manticore or whatever it is seeing it. Now they've got the horse tied up well back because they don't want obviously they don't want it to get eaten while they're exploring. Now they're probably going to end up having to fight anyway because they are not particularly stealthy people. All right, so their stealth. Uh, all right, 0 successes versus the Manticore. I think has a scouting of 4. I'll just roll. Is that right? Yeah, scout 4. So not really much of a. He's certainly not going to try to push. All right, so 0 and 0. I think the ties go to the Manticore, which makes sense. Does he want to? Does he want to push though? Because now they've tied. What is stealth? Stealth is agility. You know, I guess he. Actually, I think. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna use one of my willpower, and instead of stealth, I'm going to go to my old. I'm going to use my human. I'm going to use the insight. I'm going to use the insight as I look and see how the creature moves, and I'm going to use that instead. So I'm going to re-roll. So you still may not get any successes, but all right, 3 successes. So um, I never think of the talents first. I just go straight to the rolls. I have a problem with with games that use talents. But if I were GMing someone else and they said, "Oh, hey, by the way, I want to do this," if it's not too far back, I usually will because I try to be, uh, uh, you know, not forgiving necessarily, but at least forgiving of myself because that's something that I would forget. So that's actually 3 successes. So that's like a critical success. This manticore goes to sleep, and they get to the bone door. And with the 3 successes, I'm not even going to worry about the manticore even on the way out probably. And it's full. It just ate. You know, it just ate a deer or some other poor horse, somebody else who rolled an encounter with a lost horse, and it ate their horse instead. Um, So they get to the Delve of Bone. Okay. All right, so it's not actually it's not locked or anything. They get to the door, and he's very reluctant to touch it because it is obviously made of bone. But Zell says, "Come on, let's go before that thing decides to wake up." And in they go. All right, so as they creep down the steps past the door, um, Zell with his bow at the ready, and Lennox with a sword in one hand and a torch in the other. Let's see. Room 1. This stairway has little of interest, has 2 other doors leading from it. One is blocked, one is wide open. Now, using these maps and the random generator, um, really the random generator is probably better if you kind of make like a point crawl, you know, where you just have one like a room and then random like a node map, and then you have the different paths and stuff. So I'm just going to play. So that 1, 2, 3. This is the one that's blocked. Which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the one that's blocked. 4. All right, so this one here is blocked. Um, just make that just a little note there. So that one's blocked. So they search around carefully through the room, and there's nothing else of much. All right, the corridor is bland. No other exits leading from it. All right, so we'll say this is the corridor that's bland, but obviously there are other things leading from it. They'll explore down this way. Yeah, we'll count that. Corridor is bland, but there is obviously other exits leading from it. Uh, So nothing there. They explore, but they don't find anything. See, now it does have rats. This is actually kind of a bland. The whole thing's kind of bland. So we'll say that the sainted office of all right. So really, this is. I guess I should have read. I should have read the room description. This is really a boring dungeon, but it does have rats. So as they are exploring, we'll say that one is the sainted office of Ba, and it has some strange flowers, but the flowers aren't that interesting either. Do they find these coins? All right, so they explore this completely boring dungeon, and there are rats in it. Should we have a battle with rats at least, or maybe I will make them fight the Manticore on the way out, just to make it interesting. Lennox thrusts his torch out as he approaches the passage, and coming down the passage, he sees the bouncing, skittering reflection of countless tiny eyes. Now, the swarm rules. They are handled as a single creature with a strength rating as a whole, and you can never inflict more than one. So I broke our little swarm into um, four four different little icons representing one strength each. And of course, he's I don't know. As a swarm comes, on one hand, I would, because he has a torch, I would think that he might be able to maybe use that as a parry, almost to drive the rats away as they come and kick. Obviously, wouldn't really be able to parry with a sword. Um, he might be able to move out of the way. That would probably be the best to give like a move defense. But we're going to take our initiative and Zell. So he's got his main weapon is usually a bow, but the bow's not going to be all that great. So he grabs himself a short spear, and he's mostly going to be trying to skewer and whack the rats. And Zell is swinging sword and torch as they come swarming into the room. Squeak, squeak. And as they get closer, you can see their nasty little teeth. Ah. All right, so first thing we're going to do is turn order. All right, so the rats go first, and strength of 4. This is the ratty attack. 1 attack. Can Lennox let's see, would that be melee? I'm gonna say that's probably gonna be move. He's gonna try to dance back and step away as he's hacking and jumping and trying to leap on them. Can he evade? He's gonna try to push. All right, cool. So he manages to evade and get some willpower. Or no, he doesn't get willpower. What am I talking about? That's only with the skulls. He manages to evade and then returns. Tries to return the favor. And I'm going to say that he does have a torch. I'm going to say he's not going to get his long sword is not as effective as broadsword, so I don't think he's going to get a bonus for that. And regardless, you can only do 1 point of strength to them. And they can't, they're not, they're a rat swarm. They don't try to defend or block or anything. So he gets one hit on them. There's that click, drag, draw, deal thing again. All right, so now the rats attack. Now they only have a 3 strength. And they miss. So as he's swinging back again, sword and torch. All right, so he manages to burn, stomp, and slash another one. And of course, Zell is there with him, pounding up and down, jumping up and down like they're uh, crushing grapes on these nasty rats. Grody. And then now they attack, but they're only at 2 now. There's one. He's going to try to leap out of the way. No, so yeah, he's not gonna. He's gonna try to push that. Yeah, I think he will try to. He'll try to push that. Ugh. Nope, but he takes 2 points of agility and a hit. So that one didn't work very well for him. That was not a good move. He manages to uh, leap and jump, and as one gets close, he starts swinging around and he falls over and slips and hurts himself as he slips and falls, maybe cracking his head on the wall before he gets back to his feet. Oh, but that time he does actually get two willpower for his ouchies. All right, but as he gets back up, he stomps. Zell holds him, helps him up, and they're splatting these rats all over the place. Stomp, burn, crush, and another one. Another one bites the dust. Oh, whoops! I erased last guy. Oh, I don't need to keep really track of turn order. It's him and the rats. And then now the rat, the last swarm of the rats, the few remaining, still crazed by the intrusion, continue to leap and snap and squeak. But there's just not enough. There's just not enough of them left to make an effective attack. And finally, Lennox and Zell managed to stomp and splatter these things into big piles of bloody rat guts all over the place, kind of like Weird Al's Weasel Stomping Day. And finally, the remainder of the swarm scatters and disappears into the darkness. And as it turns out, they make their way back out, and it was really not much there at all. I should have paid a little more attention. I was trying to go more with the the number of rooms versus uh, the map that got generated. But so be it. Maybe at a later date this will turn to be a more interesting site. That takes they go out, and like I said, the Manticore is full. It leaves them alone. They sneak away, grab Chauncey. Um, Worse for the wear, having explored this strange site and gotten nothing for it. Not even the 11 copper coins that were there. In fact, it's not even. It's almost so small. It's not even worth putting on the map. But there it is. They try to find their way across the river. That's going to be Zell with a Pathfinder roll. And I think there's a bonus for the weather. They find a way across the river. 4 of clubs. So that's the Book of Beasts as they carry on with their day. Okay, so that is definitely an event. 6-6.